I'm great, thanks, Scott. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for taking the time to call. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. How's Atlantic City doing?
Oh man, it's great. The demise of Atlantic City is greatly exaggerated. It's in great shape actually. We're in good shape. You ever been here before, Dan?
Yes, once. Years before, we played a Maxim kind of like corporate party, and it was I think we were on after John Mayer.
Oh wow.
Believe it or not.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was some big pop acts and stuff.
Oh, I remember that. Was it outside? Were you outdoors?
Yeah, there were like a couple of stages. Yeah, it was some really big posh party, and they paid a fortune for bands to be there.
Oh man, I remember that.
And it just coincided with our tour. Yeah, like it was just next to one of the massive casinos, like a brand new one, I think it was.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we're glad to have you back, man. It's been long overdue. So I guess for longtime fans, I guess the obvious question has been, what took so long to get to give us some great new music, and we missed you. So can you talk about the process of how it all came back together?
Yeah, well, basically, we kind of it all ground to a halt. I mean, we're in a bit of a state and taking nights, taking too many drugs. The usual rock and roll story, falling out of each other, and it felt like that we weren't. It was just time to become normal human beings again, I think, for us. And I think that's one thing that we always valued about the band and its outlook on life, is that we were basically just normal guys or whatever. And we turned into assholes. And yeah, I don't know, it took a while to sort of. We've been living in a bubble for a long time as well, because I mean we were touring from the year 2000, and we had our first hit in 2003, I think, and we were touring constantly for those 3 years, and then toured constantly for another 3 or 4 years. So we never had a chance. No one dared say no. Let's stop for a minute. We kept going and going and going because we were so scared that it might all sort of go away. We didn't have the confidence to say no, and that's what happens when you don't have the confidence to say no. It all implodes. So here we are, like lessons learned, and become proper human beings again, and and enjoying every day that we get to do what we do,
So you mentioned about Justin having some problems. So was it imperative for him to sort of straighten out to move on, musically as well as personally for you guys?
Yeah, I think less musically. If anything, we've gone back musically. I think it's not really. We're not really moving on. We've moved further towards the 70s, and I think probably the next album will be firmly in the 70s. But I think in every other way. Emotionally, as far as like the amount of booze and drugs consumed, we certainly moved on. I think that was a period that just got completely out of hand, and we're feeling good about what we do now. The onus is on basically on a daily level. It's all about the show. It's all about what happens in the evening, in that night time. Whereas before, it was about our whole lives revolved around what happened after the gig. It was literally, an unbelievable amount of alcohol and consumed, and things taken, and people taken, and so on and so forth. And then you kind of you think you've just about got over it by the next gig, but you're giving yourself an hour to get ready for it, and you're still completely shattered. Right. And so some of those gigs were just totally rubbish, really. And I've looked back at the footage as well. It's like, you know what? We are much, much better now, because it's all about that, really, for us. It's incomprehensible to us to go all the way to another country and then not do the best gig that you possibly could. So. In a way, I think we've joined the ranks of the other proper rock bands that kind of, go out there and do it properly. You know what I mean?
So how do you think Hotcakes, adds to the catalog? I mean, what do you think? If you're going to talk about this album in particular, what do you think it does that maybe the others didn't, or like you said, it goes back a little bit as opposed to going forward? Can you talk about Hotcakes?
Yeah, well, I think sonically it's definitely a move forward. I think we kind of now the sound of that record is exactly how I'd like it to sound on a car stereo. Whereas both the former records are a bit flawed, from my personal production here. It's exactly how I want us to sound right now. It's like a classic modern rock sound. I think we sort of, we hit it on the nail on the head. But as far as where it fits, I think maybe you could say that the first album kind of came from the groin. The second album came from like the head in a way,
right.
And this one kind of comes from the heart. So I think you can hear like how much it means to us on this record, and I think that lyrically it's definitely a bit more honest, and I wanted to capture how excited we were to be back together during the recording of this album, and I think there was one mate in England called it referred to the album as rabble rousing, and I've used that expression for ages, but there's only when it was used in referring to my album that I actually had to look up what it actually meant, and I think it's kind of spot on in a way.
Yeah, it seems less polished in that second album, but less produced, but still polished. Is that sort of what you were looking for? That a little more,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, polished, but not a turd. It's more like not saying the second album was bad, but like
right.
But sorry, I couldn't resist that. That's you've heard of the pushing of a turd expression, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny.
Is that transfer? Yeah, but it's it's more. I wanted to sound like as one or the main contributing producer of the record. I didn't want to put out a record that sounded like rubbish. But I really wanted the performances to be done as quickly as humanly possible, even though we had as much time as we wanted, because there was no label. It was in my studio and I was producing it and engineering it. So, but I really wanted it to be, as soon as you're happy with it, as soon as it's acceptable for the band, that's usually where the gold is, because if you've got all the time in the world to make a record and you leave it up to the band, then you're in trouble, which is what happened. Which is what happened on the second album.
Exactly. So you've been called everything from glam to hair metal. Do you take any of that seriously? I mean, if you were going to define yourself, what would that be?
Metal hair.
Oh, I'm sorry?
No, that's terrible. Sorry. I said metal hair.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm trying to coin a new phrase, but that's just not working at all. I don't know. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because I don't know where we sit in. It's funny, isn't it? What would you help me out here? What would you say?
To me, it's not 80s excess, but to me, it's that fun arena rock music that isn't afraid to put the guitars out for front. For solos, which seem to have disappeared in today's music. I mean, it's just to me just guitar. Just crunching guitars and a guy who's not afraid to go into falsetto in every song.
Yeah, I do. People always sort of immediately go for the 80s thing with us, but we don't have sort of overly sort of sexual. We don't play on sexual innuendo for every song, which is something that is very much an 80s thing, and sort of lyrically it gets quite medieval with us. I think we're more 70s than anything, but weirdly our sound doesn't actually reflect that. So I'm as confused as you are. I've got no idea. I think we're a bit of an oddity, and unfortunately, I think which is actually probably a fortunate thing. We're heading towards cult band status, and that's no bad thing either. Yeah. I think that's how you become a cult band, isn't it? People just give up trying to categorise you, and then it's like you either love it or hate it.
Do you miss music when the guitars were featured so much more than today? I mean, you have fun when you're playing, obviously live and on your album. So, do you miss that? I mean, do you wish that people would stretch out a little more on albums?
I mean, yeah, it's a shame. I mean, what it is, like, people don't seem to, like, plan. I don't know whether it's like a chicken and egg situation, isn't it? If you've got a band with a great guitarist, then you are going to, when you make your song arrangements, you're going to choose that, say, 20 seconds of time in between maybe a chorus and the next verse for a guitar break. And then the middle eight, rather than being some X Factor winning awful singer, bleating on, trying to make the most out of every single note of some lyrics that she's reading off a sheet, or he is. Why not just have a massive guitar solo? And that's where I come from, really, And I think we're the first band in a long time to have singles on the radio that actually did that. Even the bands that call themselves cool rock bands, you still don't hear the guitar solo, and I don't understand it. It's like the whole new metal thing. It's like it managed to come out of being influenced by Metallica, but yet not, and Megadeth not have any solos.
Right.
I still don't understand that. And I miss the virtuoso musician, because any virtuosity is taken away by computers these days, and I'm talking from drums through to vocals, really. So, yes, I miss the virtuoso performance on recorded music. I really do.
It seems like a lost art. The guitar solo, it seems like it's just it's a shame. So how did the amazing?
Yeah, you should say the one. It's funny, isn't it? Like, ain't the guitarist in these bands anymore, can you? There's no,
Yeah.
There you go.
So how did the amazing Radiohead cover come about? I mean, nice to hear, another original guitar solo with the song that's familiar to people that love Radiohead, and it's just sort of turned on its ear, the whole song. I mean, what made you do that? And it sounds like fun. And do you play it live?
Yes, well, that's why we recorded it, actually, because it was in our live set, and funny, it was actually on the last American tour. We pulled it out, we casted it off, and we gave it a blast, and we really enjoyed playing it. And we originally started playing about 10 years ago, and we thought maybe it was for a radio station. They asked us to do a cover, and they said, there's a celebration in the UK where radio stations would ask bands to do a cover, and as well as like two of their own kind of thing. And they asked us, just do like AC/DC or Queen or something like that. And we thought, well, God, that'd just be so trad. Let's just try something different. We tried a Coldplay song. We tried a Design song, which was the polar opposite at the time, and songs that we loved, but we completely avoided them. We just weren't designed to do it. And then I think it was my idea to free spirit. People thought, well, you know what, that's a better do. You can make a riff out of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretty much make a riff out of anything, I reckon. If you go to a building site for a while, you'll hear something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it wasn't actually meant to make it onto the album. I said, look, we really have to document this because the fans really love it, and it'd be great to actually record it so that we don't, have to bombard people with it while it's wanted, and it turned out too good to be a B-side.
So was it amazing? 10 years after you debuted, I Believe in a Thing Called Love, that it was number one on the iTunes charts, and everyone's singing along to a song that you think may have disappeared. I mean, that's pretty wild, right?
It is wild. And I'm constantly amazed at the people that pick that song up for this and that, bombs and adverts and again, if you really want to cover it, it's extraordinary, really. It's become some sort of rock classic, which is great, but to us it's just another one of their songs that gets the biggest cheer, I suppose.
I hope it made you switch to Samsung Note, though. I mean, because it was all over the place, man.
Hey, this interview is sponsored by Samsung. Let me repeat that.
So you better have one when I see you. Absolutely. So was it?
I'll repeat. I'll tell you what. Can I just say, and I want this in print, that this line is just the sound of this interview is just crystal clear. I don't know whether that's because I'm on my Samsung, whatever this fucking thing is.
Can you hear me now? Exactly.
I get it here.
I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy. But two more things. So you're known for your great shows. Someone who's never seen you, what do they expect?
The best rock and roll band on the planet right now. Yes, there are some people who have made some fantastic rock records over the years, but if you want to see the real deal and with the energy of how it was played 20 or 30 years ago, come see us because it rules.
And like theatric, I mean, is it just crazy energy kind of thing? I mean, it's just I know you have a lot, you're known for it, but also your brother as well. I mean, it just crazy antics. Like just he's almost athletic the way he's a front man, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a bull in a china shop. It's a cross between a bull in a china shop and a chimpanzee at a dressing up party. Is that something that might appeal to America?
100%. And last thing, so what's next for you guys? Is there another album? Is there another album for you guys? Are you going to tour for a long time? What's next?
Absolutely. We're going to the road between now and the next end of May in calendar. So yeah. Actually, no, we've been charged with writing the next May in calendar.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to have you. Hope the world doesn't end tomorrow, and I'll get to see you.
But unfortunately, the month-wise it only goes to 11.
Yeah, I know. But hey, brother, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully I'll see you when you get here in AC.
Cheers. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.